Okay, this video is regarding the unclear field names that exist within Matrix. This is a problem because it causes listings to get miscategorized when they're listed, and then they get lost and don't show up in a matrix search, which of course is a very big problem, which is caused by the fact that agents are putting data in wrong when they input their listings. Now, are we helpless to do anything about this? The response I typically get from the development team or tech support or whoever is something like this. Unfortunately, we're not able to control how members enter the data. Well, actually, I disagree. We are able to control. Maybe control is the wrong word. Let's say strongly influence. Okay. We can do that. We can do something about this, and it's not hard. It's really quite simple, actually, and it's clarifying the field names. Now that might seem like a trivial thing to do, but in fact it's not, as I'll show you here. But it is very simple. It's not difficult, and it's gonna go a long ways towards alleviating this problem. It won't fix it 100%, of course, but it will eliminate the vast majority of the issues. So we're going to look at a specific example here, the levels field, and this is specifically for detached houses. Now you'll notice there's one here at the bottom, split level. That doesn't really belong here, but that's a whole other can of worms, so just ignore that for now. Now, the problem here is that there's confusion between what some of these things mean. For example, one of them is the confusion that exists between these two things, one and bi-level. One is referring to a bungalow. It doesn't say bungalow, that's the problem, but there it is. Now, the reason there's confusion between these two things is because these two properties are actually very, very similar. They both do indeed have one level above grade, and that does lead to a lot of confusion. Okay, to see what I mean, let's do a quick matrix search. We're going to do detached residential in Calgary. Under levels, we'll click bi-level architectural style. We'll click bungalow. Now we get two results here. Okay, we'll take a quick look at that. Here's the first one. This is obviously a bungalow. You can tell immediately. He's got it listed as a bungalow under architectural style. Under levels, he's got bi-level. Okay, obviously that's a mistake. Now, let's look at the other one. Same thing. You can immediately tell it's a bungalow. He's got that under architectural style. Under levels, he's got bi-level. Same thing again. Now you might think, oh well, that's just two. But if we look, that's the currently active ones. But if we look here, we'll go back a year, just in Calgary, 32. Okay, so it's happening a lot. Here you can see under levels, these are all listed as bi-level, and under architectural style, they're all bungalow. So bi-level and bungalow at the same time, there is no such house. Okay, doing a search like this with bi-level under levels and bungalow under architectural style, that should turn up 0 results. There should be none, but yet we've got 32 houses in the last year just in Calgary alone. So obviously there's a lot of confusion here, and the confusion exists between these two fields. Here's another example. This house is obviously a bi-level. You can tell immediately. He's got it listed as a bi-level under architectural style, but under levels he put 1. This is an extremely common thing that's been happening. And once again, the reason is the confusion that exists within the levels field. Okay, so when an agent's listing a property, he gets to the point where he has to put in the levels, he gets to this list, and the first thing on the list is 1. Okay, it's actually a bi-level that he's listing, but bi-level's way down the list here. He doesn't see that right away, but he sees 1, so, and it does apply in a way. It's not correct, but that's what he does. He puts 1 in there. Okay, and we can alleviate this problem somewhat by rearranging this list. If you look at the list, it's all very intuitive, like it's kind of in order here, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, etc. The split levels are all in a nice order here, but bi-level's out of place. It's way down here all by itself. It should be next to 1, like that, okay? Because these two properties, one is referring to a bungalow. These are extremely similar types of properties. They belong together, next to each other on the list. Now when an agent is inputting a listing, and it's a bi-level, he gets to this list, the first thing he sees is 1, but bi-level's right there next to it, so he's not going to miss that. Okay, so that's going to help alleviate the problem, but there's something else we can do that's going to help even more, and that's to clarify the field names. And by that I mean this. This makes it extremely clear what each of these things are referring to. Yes, they both have 1 level, and we're saying that, making that clear, but we're also making it very clear that these are 2 separate things, bungalow and bi-level, and it's very clear which one to use, whether you're doing a matrix search or whether you're inputting your listing. So that's why we need to make this change in both the listing input tool as well as on the matrix search pages. As far as what the public sees, I don't think we need to necessarily do this. I think this would be better, just having bungalow and bi-level. We don't need to specify the one thing, like as far as what shows up on the listing itself. But as far as the listing input tool and on the matrix search pages, it should read like this, because that's where the mistakes are being made, when we input listings and when we do searches. Okay, now that'll clarify the confusion between those two things. However, there's another item here that's creating a lot of confusion, and that's this one, because that's referring to a two-story, but it doesn't say that. It says two. So let's see how that's a problem. Let's look at an example here. This is a bi-level. Obviously you can tell immediately. Here's the listing. He's got it listed as a bi-level under architectural style, but under levels he put 2. Now why would he do that? Well, obviously he's thinking there are 2 levels, meaning the main floor and the basement. That's not correct. That's not how you're supposed to do it, but it's a common mistake, okay? Because this is not clear. So therefore the obvious solution is to change this to actually say 2-story rather than 2. Okay? That is far more clear, and it's going to alleviate those problems. So that's it. Very, very simple. Just rearrange the levels field to look like this. Make sure it's done both in the listing input tool and on the matrix search page. Yes, agents do make a lot of mistakes. This is a very extremely simple way to help alleviate the vast majority of those mistakes that are related to these things here. Okay, so please make this change, and thank you so much for watching.